What's up everyone, Lex DeVille here. In this video, we are going to review and break down one of my real life sales calls. And it is a call where I pitched just a few words of text for $500. I'm going to take you step by step through the entire process. If you haven't seen our most recent video, we talked about some mistakes. I'll shoot those up above, mistakes that freelancers are making in their proposals, reasons they're not getting hired. So go check that out. We've had several really good, helpful videos the last couple of days, especially for Upwork freelancers. You will definitely want to check those out. This video is going to break down my entire sales call process from the initial rapport phase when you get on the call, through discovery, through the qualification phase, and finally how you pitch that sale and ensure you close the deal getting the contract. I'm going to walk you through it step by step, break down every single part, so you will definitely want to watch this video from start to finish. You will want to subscribe and click that like button to help this video gain some traction, help our channel grow, help give me more reasons to come back and share these tips and insights with you so that you can grow your own freelance business. Beyond that, we're just going to dive into this thing, so I hope you're ready. Let's do this. Watch from start to finish, or else you're going to miss some stuff.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. So, thanks for responding to the thing on Upwork and hopping on a call with me.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here. Pretty much all calls will start with some kind of small talk. You're just going to hop on, talk about the weather, ask each other how you are, stupid stuff like that that nobody really cares about. You want to get out of this phase as quickly as possible.
Cool. So, have you had a chance to look at the examples that I put on the Upwork job?
Yeah, I checked out a couple of those. I was kind of curious about what you were going for with him, if it was just strictly slogans and gym style t-shirts, or are you working with a designer? And I guess just tell me a little bit about that. Normally when you are transitioning out of the initial rapport phase, the initial small talk phase, you are going to use some kind of transition word, like the word so. In this case, I hesitated just slightly too long, and the client transitioned. He took control. And you don't want this to happen. You don't want it to be the client who starts this way, because this can actually direct the entire call. So when I am transitioning away from small talk, there will be a slight lull in the conversation. There will be just a brief pause, and you have to be the one who jumps in there and says, so, tell me about your business. That's what you need to get to. In this case, the client went, cool, so, and then he asked me a question. Now, to recover from that question so that I could get back in control, so that the client would not be directing the call, I had to ask additional questions. So I had to respond to the client's question and then turn that around with my own question so that I would be the one in control, because as soon as I asked that question, now the client has to respond. Now, I actually used a series of questions to get back to where I was trying to go. I asked multiple questions, one, 2, 3, and then, so tell me about your business. That's where I was trying to get to. Once you have the client telling you about your business, they're going to do most of the talking for a vast majority of the rest of the call, and you are back in control.
Yeah. So what our, I think probably a little bit about us. So what we do is that we're the world's largest supplier of tools and supplies for people who build guitars and repair guitars.
Oh, wow.
And so we're kind of making a bit of a pivot into the guitar player space. So really trying to encourage more folks who are guitar players, own guitars, thinking about maybe building a guitar. We're trying to, so it's a little bit more of a consumer audience. So we're trying to create some of this lifestyle where they just really gets, it's like a little bit of the inside baseball stuff for guitar players. So we're going to make these shirts, and we've been seeing these t-shirts show up that are just those block letters. So very similar to that, Arnold is numero uno, which, he wore in like Pumping Iron back in the 70s.
Right.
I've seen those sort of start to show up. So that there was that example that I showed from the JHS Instagram feed where the girl was wearing the shirt that said something to the effect of, I literally, spend all day, making pedals or thinking about pedals or whatever it said. And then there was those ones from Imogene and Willie, which was something about, live music. It was support live music, hire live musicians. So we want to make some of those that are kind of very inside Easter eggy kinds of things for guitar players, and certainly then for some of the folks in the craft. I think the player side of it will probably be a little easier to hit. Like a couple of examples, and I don't know that these are the world's greatest examples, but at least you get a directional, see where I'm going with this. Is I'm not listening, I'm thinking about guitars. Or one could be how many guitars are enough, one more. Just
That makes
some
sense.
stuff like that. So I think what we're really trying to do is sort of hit that, like I said, that inside baseball, that zeitgeist kind of thing about a guitar. Like as soon as you see it, if you were a guitar player, that's a cool shirt. I would
Right.
want that. You know. Um, and so we're really kind of trying to work with some folks from the copywriting side to come up with some ideas. So, and this is probably merch that we'll bring out probably in the spring. So there'll be, what we're really planning is to be very similar to that Arnold T-shirt. So a white T-shirt with the banded sleeves and the banded neck. So it's kind of similar to that John Lennon shirt that said Brooklyn on it. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but he wore, or maybe it said New York on it. I think it said New York on it. But anyway, it's a shirt that's been around for a long time, but it has a bit of a retro vibe to it, and we think it might play well with this audience.
Once you transition into tell me about your business, the client is going to talk and talk. They will probably talk for several minutes. They may talk for 15 to 20 minutes. Just let them go. During this time, I don't interrupt the client. I try not to anyway. And the only noises I make with the client are just acknowledgements to keep them moving along, to keep them feeding me information and telling me about what they're doing. So I'll say, mm-hmm, or okay, or that makes sense. That's just to let them know that I'm hearing them. It's reminding them that I'm still here. I'm not off doing something else, and I'm acknowledging that what they're saying. And as I do that, it just keeps our call moving forward. It keeps them feeling heard, and it keeps everything pulled in this tight direction without the client getting off track. We're not getting distracted. I'm not giving them opportunities to create transition points where they're going to take control again. I'm just letting them talk for now. So is the goal to, with your shirts, are you using these as a lead into your other products, or is this going to be a main product for you?
This will be a product. I mean, so all of the merch is really priced. It's really priced as more of a marketing, it's like a self liquidating marketing kind of a thing. So I mean, the majority of the products that we sell are, tools, supplies, kits, stuff like that. So I don't envision this being a first purchase for somebody unless it was a gift. This will probably be something that existing customers will buy, and folks
Okay,
that
that
already know.
makes sense. After the client talks for a while, they're going to reach a natural stopping point where they feel like they've said enough, and then there's going to be a slight pause. And in that pause, you need to continue to move the call forward. So you're going to do that with another transition word. And I do that here with the word so. And then I ask another question. And that it's as simple as that. You just say so and then ask your next question. And that next question for me is just something a little bit deeper about their business. And going forward, I'll ask additional questions for clarity about their business, just getting deeper and deeper, digging into their business more and learning more and more about them, how I can help them, if I can help them, do I want to help them? These are questions that I'll be asking myself. But I transition with the word so, I ask a question, and then I let them talk again, and I use those mm-hms and okay words to keep things moving along.
Yeah.
So would you then want a range of, like your examples are, I would say those are kind of more high level. Even somebody who's not necessarily building guitars or really that versed in guitars might like that. If they're into guitars, they're still going to like that. And then maybe some slogans that are really kind of something only an insider is gonna get. Somebody who's been doing this a while or maybe knows more about guitars.
Mm-hmm. I think that's right. I think it's kind of both. I think it could be for people who love guitars but aren't necessarily like players or builders or things. It could be for people that like music.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think the majority of folks that are going to be buying this are going to be our customers, and they're, like I say, they're big time guitar nerds. So I think you can lean into that.
Okay.
Um, and I probably would lean into that. So I think those are going to be our safest bets. But but like when I look at that Imogene and Willie shirt that says support live music, hire live musicians, I bet if we put that shirt out, I bet that would sell for us too. So I don't know that they all have to be dead on the money for you know guitar nerdy stuff.
So are
So
they, I guess for the audience you're targeting then, are they, you said they're mostly,
we've really said like, look, what we're really about is that we're really about bringing people together, and the bond that brings people together is their love of guitars, and all the rest of that stuff that can be for like the rest of your life. But this is our little garden over here, and in the garden we don't bring that kind of stuff into that. You
good.
know?
Well, that's good to know. I mean, I won't
Yeah,
write anything either particular direction, so.
yeah, uh huh.
Okay. That's,
I think that's that. I think if we step in that, I think that we're I think that we're begging for trouble from half of our audience. Depends on which half.
right. Yeah, alienate one half and make the other half happy, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly.
So again, there was a pause and then a transition into another question that is going a little bit deeper into their business. Each question is just digging a little bit deeper. And each time I do this, the client feels like they are heard. They feel like I'm understanding their business, even though I haven't said anything about their business other than just asking questions about different parts of it and what they're trying to accomplish. And then beyond that, we will know that we are starting to get in rapport, that we are on the right track. When the client begins to acknowledge us with their own mmhms or that's right statements, or if they're saying okay, or any of the statements that I've been using to move the call along, the client will start using those sometimes, saying that we are on the right track. So if I'm saying anything about their business, or if I'm not just asking a question, but I'm making a statement about their business, or pointing something out, or trying to ask about their audience, and the client saying, that's right, that's good, that's what we want. And then in this case, the client expands upon that as well. He gave me additional information for clarity. And then there was a point where we talked about audience. I cut that out just so I don't reveal anything about their specific audience. But right after that, I asked a question about if they have any political leanings, which we kind of had a chuckle over. And that little laugh, that's good. You can hear it in the client's voice. You can hear a slight uptick in their voice, in the sound of it, in the pitch, in the tone, and you can hear a little bit of a laugh coming from inside of them. And I also laugh slightly too. And this should tell you that, okay, the client laughed at that, I laughed at that, we're in rapport, we are in sync, we're on the same page about this thing that I just asked. It's no big deal, we can move forward. And then the client continues onward, just talking about their business. Again, for most of the call, they're doing the talking.
So yeah. So anyway. So yeah. So I what I'm kind of hoping is just to sort of turn you loose and to let you just crank out some stuff, and then let's just have a check-in after you spend a few hours working on this, and let's just kind of see, and then sort of adjust from there.
Okay, a lot of important stuff happens right in this part of the call. First, the client transitions with the word so, or so yeah so, and attempts to take back control of the call from me. He then goes into some expectations about working together, how he sees this going. At the same time, what he's doing, what I'm paying attention for is, first of all, that we've left the part of the call, we've left the discovery phase of the call. We're out of the part where I'm asking questions about his business. We've transitioned into a future reality. The client is future pacing a reality where I've already been hired. He's talking about what happens after the part where I get hired. This is very good because now we have the client thinking forward. He's not thinking about the sale. He's thinking about what it's going to be like when we're working together. And so the next thing that I have to do is take back control. I need to set my own expectations for the client so that he understands that this is my call, that he has to do things my way or we don't work together. And this isn't in like a forceful or commanding way. It's still very friendly, and you'll see that in the next part of the call.
I think ultimately, probably in terms of how many shirts that we'll bring out in the spring, I don't know, 5, 6 maybe, but we might have to have 100 ideas to get those 5 or 6.
sure, that makes sense.
So like I say, so I think let's just start with a few hours, see how it goes, and then kind of adjust from there, and just after we take a look at stuff.
Okay. So a little bit about how I work. I only
Yep.
do fixed price gigs, so we would need to adjust that. But I can work with you on that. I mean, I'm not expecting these to be super long slogans or anything for any of them because shirts are really short.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you want to start with maybe like, I don't know how many you want to start with, but we can come up with whatever seems like a good number for you. I mean, I can churn out ideas all day, but I guess the main thing for me is that I'll need to get in and do a little bit of research. And that's kind of why I build fixed rates, just so I have the freedom to go research as much as I want, and I don't have to worry about racking up hours at my rates.
As we're moving into this qualification phase, the client is continuing to attempt to set expectations. He's setting this expectation of, we're going to do some hourly work, hundreds of slogan ideas, shoot me hundreds of slogan ideas, and they'll pick from that. I am not going to do that. This is a qualification phase for me. So now I'm going to transition with the word okay, and then I'm going to start to set self-filtering parameters. And these are going to be things where I'm talking about how I work, and then the client is going to self-filter based on if they are okay with that or not. And if they are okay with it, then we've pretty much finished our selling at that point. But in this case, I set expectations of, first of all, fixed price. I'm not doing hourly work. I don't do any hourly work. I also set an expectation of short slogans because I don't want there to be any misconception that I'm going to deliver some really long-winded slogans. I mean, these are t-shirts after all, so they're just going to be a few words. And then I open it up to different numbers that we might start with, and I prepare to transition into the sell, assuming that the client is still on board. So assuming that I'm still hearing those acknowledgement statements and everything is ready to go, now I'm going to share my price. So I'm really not pitching a sale. I'm just going to share my price in the next phase.
So what I do is $100 per page up to 500 words. That's my normal copywriting rates. So for this, I would see an individual shirt as being like a different page because it's a different creative each time. So if you wanted to start with like 5 of those or something, or whatever number you feel comfortable with, I'm totally fine jumping in with that.
Right.
So the selling phase, I do most of the initial talking. I've just transitioned into the phase, and I go straight into what some might call a sales pitch, but I'm just sharing my price. It is $100 per page up to 500 words, and I'm setting that expectation. And then I explain that a page, and there's a reason I always offer it per page, a page in this case is each individual shirt. So that's one creative item, because I'm going to have to come up with unique ideas for each different shirt. So yeah, I can come up with a lot of different slogan concepts, but it's still a completely different idea. And if I put these all on one page, then I'm selling myself short for the creative work that I have to do. So even though each slogan is approximately 3, maybe 5, 7 words maximum, I'm still going to bill my rate of $100 per page, or per item in this case. And that is what I offer here.
Well, okay, so if we did 5 of those, it would be $500.
Right.
Okay, so let's just start with 5 and let's see where we end up.
Okay.
And then, like I said, then we can probably, take a look at those and sort of adjust and say, all right, let's do 10 more and let's make them a little more like this or a little
Yeah,
more
yeah.
like that.
And I mean, when I do these, when I shoot you some ideas over, I'll send you something that is like I'll send you one slogan, but I'll probably give you variations of that slogan, so you have some different things. Maybe you can toss it around and say, I like this one more than that one for this shirt, and just give you some different playroom there. And if you think there's a better way to write it, we can approach from that angle too.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Never assume what the client can afford. That's not your job. Your job is to put your offer out there, to share your price, and then they either accept it or they don't. More often than not, the client will accept it. You are often working with clients of huge businesses. They may have $1 million business, multi-million-dollar businesses. So these clients can afford your rates. They can afford them. They pay way more all the time for their employees. That's what you should go into this assuming, really assuming nothing. But you have a price, you put it out there, and if it's a fit, then they buy. And if you have done everything up to this point to keep yourself in rapport, and you've asked questions, and you've let them do most of the talking, they're probably going to feel like you're a competent professional, and they're probably going to accept your rates. In this case, the client accepts my offer, and then FuturePace is a reality where he offers me 10 additional slogans, which would be another $1,000. And keep in mind, these are 5 to 7 words each on the slogans. So it's less than a paragraph of text for $500 to $1,000 in each case. In any event, we have closed the sale at this point. We have put our offer out there. The only thing that stops this from being a sale is that the client has not paid yet. So that's the next thing that we have to get to. But we have put our price out there. We do have an accepted offer. Now we just transition into getting that sale locked in with a contract through Upwork in this case.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go ahead and approve this under a fixed price of $500, which I think I can do based on the way I've set this up. I don't use Upwork that often.
Yeah,
so
they switch stuff every day anyway.
I'm telling you, so it's a little bit of a rookie. But yeah, and if you want to bounce anything off of me, kind of as you're going through this, like ideas and stuff, before you like really start getting into it, just feel free to shoot me an email, or or I'll even send you my phone number and just shoot me a text, and I can answer that too.
Okay, that'll work. What I will need is just a few days after we get the contract set up and going. Just a few days for research, and then I'll pop out some ideas for you and shoot them over to you. I'll probably send them through Upwork as Google Doc.
Yeah, okay. If you do that, just shoot me an email. Let me know that they're.
Yeah, sure.
I might miss that, but yeah, okay, that's fine. I will set this up as soon as we hop off the call.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else
All right.
you need from me for now, or?
I think so.
All right.
So appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for meeting with me.
Yeah. Talk to you. Bye.
In a best case scenario, you would get the client to give you the contract, to go ahead and set the contract up while you're on the call, but it's not a huge deal. However, if you let that client get off the call and they haven't set the contract up within the same day, you've probably lost it. So I always think that it is best to get the client to go ahead and set that up on the call. You can ask them about that. You can say, yeah, if you want to go ahead and set that up now, I'll accept it real quick on the call. You can even say on the call. It's not a big deal. And then get them to do it right then, and you can accept it. Now you've got a funded contract. They've effectively handed over cash. They've put it into escrow if you're on fixed price. Or if you're on hourly, they've at least got that locked in place. So you don't have to worry about it later on. You don't have to track the client down or anything like that. You can still get it if they get off the call. If you are in really good rapport, if they really like you, they're really wanting to move forward, then they will go ahead and send it. In this case, I got it. So it's just something to be aware of for some of you who may want to go ahead and lock that in on the call, because that really is closing the sale once you have that contract in place so that you can do the work. Okay, so that about wraps it up for this sales call breakdown. I hope you guys found some really useful information. If you have any questions, drop them in a comment down below. We took you through my entire sales process from the initial rapport small talk phase through the discovery phase, moving into the qualification phase, and finally sharing our price in the selling phase, and then getting that client to put in that contract on Upwork so that we can lock in this sale. The result for me was that I earned around $500 for 5 to 7 words of text for across 5 different slogans. So a total of $500 for less than a paragraph of text. And I think that this is a really good experience for some of you who are struggling with the sales part. This was actually done on a live video. I don't have video of it, but normally I've been doing these on video calls. You can do them on just a regular call or video call, however you want to do it. But lots of good information in here. Hopefully it helps some of you. And like this video if you liked anything in it. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. And just turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks. I'm Lex DeVille. See you next time.